Jai Masters. It is so easy to get lost, one in the world, but also on the spiritual path. I'm not sure which one's easier to get lost on. If you want to keep your bearings, you have to understand it is not about what you're doing in this world, not about what you have or don't have, not about what you renounce, not how you eat, not what you wear, not about your children, not about your relationships. It's not about what's going on out there, which is very liberating. It doesn't mean what's going on out there is wrong and you should have nothing to do with it, renounce touching money or having relationships or anything. It's just it has nothing to do with any of that. What people want to do is say, oh yes, it's about that. It's about relationships. It's about success. It's about abundance. No, it's not about outside. It's not about renouncing. St. Francis never touched money, all right? Ramakrishna was so pure that he said he would never touch money. He was a great enlightened master. He never touched money. They tested him. His disciples took a rupee, or whatever it is, coin, and put it under his mattress one day. And he went to lay down. He jumped up like it was on fire. Well, that's how sensitive he was, all right? But it's not about being like that. There are great masters who worked in the world and did all kinds of things. It's not about doing or not doing. It's not about having or not having. It's not about having a relationship and never getting divorced. It's not about having a relationship and getting divorced. It's not about the outside world. That is very, very difficult for people to comprehend. We'll talk about what it's about when we're done, or soon. But it's not about that, which is very liberating and also very challenging, because you want to make it about that. You want to say it's about beautiful relationships and about making beautiful things and creating beautiful things and being passionate about what's happening in the world. It's not. Those are wonderful things, but it's not about the outside world either way. Either renouncing or having or getting. And it's not about what you believe. It's not about your thoughts. It's not about your good thoughts, your bad thoughts, your thoughts about God, your thoughts about different things or anything. It's not about the world, so it's certainly not about your thoughts about the world. And it's not about your emotions. It's not about love versus fear. It's not about liking versus not liking. It's not about wanting, having desires and needs and satisfy them. And it's not about trying to get rid of the desires. It's not about the world. It's not about the mind. It's not about the emotions. Now that's hard. You understand that? Because that's how everybody lives, right? And we'll talk about why, but that doesn't lead to the highest state. It's stages. You go through stages. You're not going to drop all that. You're not even able to. Forget it. There's not a philosophy. It's the truth. It's not about that. What's it about? It's about consciousness. That's all it's about. It's consciousness. That's all it's ever about, is consciousness. Nothing else. It's not about what you're conscious of. It's about the consciousness itself. Christ said, the kingdom is within you. He just said the same thing I just told you. It's not about out there. It's not about your thoughts. It's about your emotions. Okay? It's about the consciousness, the awareness of being, who is the essence of your being. It's about your soul. What is soul? The essence, the core. That's what soul means. What is the core of your being? Someone once asked Yogananda, great enlightened master, I want to know God. He kept pestering him. I want to know God. I want to know God. Master just turned around nonchalantly and said the deepest thing that ever be said. He dwells right behind your every thought. Now, if you think about that, you won't get it. Why? Because it dwells behind your every thought. So if you're thinking about it, you're trying to figure out what the thought means, right? What dwells right behind your every thought? You know, but nobody ever asked you. What dwells right behind your every thought? The awareness of the thought. If you didn't know you had the thought, it might well not be there. You do know, do any of you have thoughts? How do you know? How do you know you have thoughts? Because you're a conscious being, and your thoughts pop up in front of you. Have you ever said, oh my God, my mind's driving me crazy? That's very spiritual. What? That the mind be crazy? No, that you're aware that you're not the mind. You've literally said, I'm not the mind. My mind. Whose? That's a possessive pronoun. Who possesses the mind? Who is aware of the mind? Oh my God, since I met her, my thoughts are so beautiful. How do you know? Dare to ask that question. How do you know your thoughts are beautiful? How do you know? Yesterday they were terrible. My mind was driving me crazy. Then this happened, and now my mind got really quiet. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Who knows? The consciousness, the awareness of being. Consciousness is awareness. Awareness is the most magical things in the whole universe. If you take away things, the consciousness knows they're taken away. If you take away the consciousness, there's nothing there. That's why it is the core of your being. It is the essence of who you are. You are the one that's aware that you see things outside. You're the one that's aware you got pregnant and had a child. How do you know? How do you know I had a child? How do you know you got pregnant? Because you're conscious. If you're not conscious, you don't know squat. You're not even here. There's nothing. Just turn off the light switch. The bulb's not on, not dimmed. It's just not even there. Consciousness is the essence of your being, and consciousness is what spirituality is. When they talk about spirit, they're talking about consciousness. When they talk about the self, the Atman, the soul, they are talking about consciousness. When Christ said the kingdom is, I love his words, the kingdom is within you. Within you. You who notices the thoughts. You who feels the emotions. That's who you are, isn't it? You're always that. I love this question. Were you in there yesterday? Were you in there yesterday? How do you know? Because you were there. Were you in there last year? How do you know? Because you were there. Did you look the same? Did you look the same 20 years ago? Were you in there? When you looked in a mirror, did you see the same face you see now? No. This one's 20 years older. Was it you looking? You're always in there. You've been in there since forever. You are the consciousness. You're the awareness of being. That is the essence of your being. And that's what spirituality is about. It's not about anything else. All the rest are objects of consciousness. There's my car, there's my wife, there's my husband, there's my child, there's my house, there's my thing, there's my job, there's this, I like this, I don't like that. Who is in there having these experiences? Spirituality is about getting back there. And by the way, I just told the non-truth. Spirituality is not about getting back there. Spirituality is about not leaving there. See the difference? You're always there, obviously. Well, why don't I feel spiritual? Why don't I feel Shakti? Why don't I feel the ecstasy? Why don't I feel the divine love? Because you're looking for love in all the wrong places. You are in there looking down at your mind. And it is very distracting. How distracting is the mind? Are you kidding me? You're addicted to watching your mind. And you are addicted to your emotions. The minute they change, bye-bye. Sit in the seat of consciousness and let the emotions go from love to disdain to fear to anxiety and just stay there conscious. You can't. You don't even stand a chance. You can. Why would you not be able to? You are the consciousness. You're the seat of consciousness. And you're looking out at things, including your thoughts and including your emotions. They grab you and pull you down, don't they? Have you ever got pulled? It really pulled me down. I love it so much. All that's happening is your consciousness is experiencing different experiences. And those experiences are pleasant. Those experiences are unpleasant. And because you like the pleasant ones, let's do this. Let's take the fall from the garden very quickly. All right? Because you like the pleasant ones, you go down to experience them. Because they're not happening, your thoughts are all involved in how to make them happen. And how to make the ones that don't make you feel good not happen. Are they not? You plot and you plan and you think, what do I want to do? What do I not want to do? Who do I like? Who do I not like? Should I get married now or should I go on tour Europe first? Should I do this? Should I take this job? Should I keep this job even though I didn't get the corner office? They didn't give me a raise? Thought. About what? How I can experience what I want to experience. Well, okay, obviously you're not experiencing it. You wouldn't be having those thoughts. I want you to understand that. If you have thoughts about what you want or need, don't you dare make that spiritual. It means that you aren't seated in a seat in which you're whole and complete within yourself. You think you need something. You don't. You are everything. And that seat, you know what yogis call that seat? Satchidananda. Eternal conscious ecstasy. That's what's going on back there. Where? In you. The kingdom is within you. That seat of awareness. That's everything. That's your way up. So basically, because you're not experiencing that, that's just so funny. Because you're not experiencing that, you look down into the mind to figure out how to experience it. That's why you're not experiencing it. Isn't that amazing? I'm eating food that's making my stomach hurt, right? What do I need? More. I need more. I need more of the food. You're leaving the seat of ecstasy to think about what the world needs to do to make you feel good. And that's what you do. The mind thinks about what? What does the mind think about? How to get things outside, people, places, things, everything, a way that the mind thinks will make it feel good. I mean, you choose where you're going to go on vacation. What do you think you do? You look at the web, you go here, you go there. You like try it on for size. So I put on clothes. What will this feel like? I wonder what that would feel like. Well, I went there last year. I think this would be better. Your mind is trying to figure out how to make you feel better. Why? Because you don't feel good. The truth of the matter is, if all that thing's going on in there, it's because you're not in ecstasy. And you're capable of being in ecstasy. And when you are, there's nothing to think about. Not that stuff anyways. You can think about science and spaceships and healing things. You can think about intellectual, abstract thought. That's what the mind was meant for. The mind was not meant to be an ingrown toenail that only thinks about you and what to do about yourself and how to be okay. Do you understand that? But that's what it thinks about, isn't it? You know why it thinks about that? Because you're not okay. Otherwise, it wouldn't be thinking about that. When you're perfectly healthy, you don't think about what doctor to go to, do you? If you're perfectly healthy inside, experiencing spirit, experiencing the depth of your being, the thoughts don't do that. It's not, how do I stop my mind? You have no right to try to stop your mind. Stop the cause of your mind. Otherwise, you're suppressing and controlling. There's a reason the mind is doing what it's doing, because you don't feel okay. And so it tries to figure out what to do to make me feel okay. And there's another side I forgot. What better not happen because I'm going to feel worse? Anybody got any of those? It's called fear. Anybody have any fear or anxiety? It's a big thing nowadays, fear and anxiety. I'm sure someone here must have some. What is that about? It's about things that have happened in the past that made me not feel good. I'm afraid they're going to happen again. I don't want it to happen again. So there are things that happened in the past that made me feel better. I want those to happen. And I don't want the things that happened that made me feel bad. Perfectly logical, right? You're in trouble. That's logic is to the mind. It has nothing to do with the self. Nothing. It's the way a mind thinks. And why is it thinking that way? Because I'm not okay. And it's trying to figure out how to be okay. Anybody guilty? That's all it thinks about. How to be okay. What should my career be? What should I do? How will I make money by the time I'm this age? What do I need to do things? When should I have children? My biological clock is... That's just thinky. About what? I'm not okay. What will make me be okay? Or at least what will make me better? I'm not doing well. What will make me worse? All right, now what do? Now you've dropped down out of the seat of ecstasy. I'm telling you, that's who you are. You're the greatest thing to walk the face of the earth. You're a great being. And instead of hanging out with God, if you will, you are looking at this neurosis that is going on inside your mind because it's not okay and it's trying to figure out how to be okay. And so you, who's the greatest thing that ever lived, are staring at something that's not quite that. All right? In fact, it's far from that. So what do? You not only stare at it, you get lost in it and you define it as you. I'm the one who likes this. I'm the one who was married this. I'm the one this happened to. I, is what you put together in your mind as a definition of yourself. You know who agrees with me? Psychology. Really? They call it the self-concept, don't they? Ever heard that word? Self-concept? What's a concept? Something's not real. It's a thought. A concept is a thought. What do you think it would be like to visit Timbuktu? You've never been there. You never seen anything. I don't know. I think it'd be a little bit like Miami. You can create any concept you want. It's a concept. So they are literally admitting that this thing that's going on in your head, this ego, is a self-concept. Something you made up based upon the past experience you had. I'm the one who likes this. I'm the one who doesn't like that. I'm the one that, my mother did this to me. I'm the one that happened. I'm my first wife. Oh my God. My second wife, that was right. That's who I am. Okay? You defined yourself as the experiences you had. And then you decided which ones you like, which one you don't. And then you looked outside. Oh, I started by saying the outside doesn't matter. It does to you. Why? Because you're not okay. And the mind decided what needs to happen and what needs to not happen for you to be okay. And it all was about the outside. Oh, it's always about the outside. You have to be a very, very high state. If all of a sudden your mind says, God, I'm scared. I don't feel good. Go meditate and go back to God. Whoa. That's not what your mind says. It says, get rid of the relationship, find a new one, do this, lose some weight, get a nose job. There's something you can do. There's something you can do to make this better, right or wrong. Because the mind was built, the self-concept was built out of the world. It's of the world. Again, let's quote in psychology. Man is the sum of his learned experiences. Ever heard that one? It's not true. You are the self, the consciousness, that's aware that your mind is the sum of your learned experiences. But your mind is the sum of your learned experiences. Your ego is the sum of your learned experiences. Okay? Period. Constantly. All the time. Therefore, those experiences were made by the world, by experience in the world. Therefore, the mind will always tell you what to do in the world to be okay. Find and do this. Well, here's my favorite. I really, really like him. God, he's almost perfect for what I wanted. There's just a couple of things, but I'll train him. That you literally, somebody says, how's your relationship going? It's a work in process. What does that mean? I need to manipulate this person to be more the way my concept says I want the person to be, and then they'll be the right person. No, they'll be the reflection of what you manipulated them to be, not who they are. But the net result is, because your self-concept was built out of the world, it's going to tell you what needs to happen in the world, what you need to get rid of, etc., to change things, to make you feel better. So you left ecstasy to stare at this mess, which is telling you to go further out. It's called the fall from the garden. You fell down, you bumped your head on the mind, then you fell down through the emotions, and then you fell all the way out into the world. And what does the Bible say about once you're thrown into the garden? Where you will work by the sweat of your brow. I love it. Anybody working with the sweat of their brow to be okay? Every single minute? Okay? It's the truth. But we won't look at it because we don't know we're the consciousness. How do you not know who you are? Because you're staring at who you're not. That's the only reason. That's what I said. It's not that you go back to consciousness, to self. You cease to leave. You're already there. You never left. They call it the light of consciousness. You've heard that. That's a big, long time spiritual thing. Light of consciousness. Why? Because consciousness is most akin to light. What do you mean? If I shine a light on something, it illumines the something, doesn't it? And maybe even passes heat. The sun does that. Light can carry heat. That something thinks that's its nature. If you were, I say it simply, the light shines from a place onto something else. That doesn't make the light be what it's shining on, does it? The light is not what it's shining on. If you move the object away, the light is still there. Put another object there. Same thing with consciousness. Consciousness is there projecting its sense of awareness onto what it's looking at. It's not what it's looking at. You are not your body. You are not your mind. You are not your emotions. You are the consciousness that is aware of those things. But the distraction of those objects of consciousness is so strong that most people have never, ever, ever taken their consciousness off of the world, what they like, what they don't like, their possessions, their emotions, their thoughts, and their body. It just, I call it the three-ring circus. The body, the world, the emotions, and the mind. That's a pretty strong draw, isn't it? And most of you have never, ever taken your consciousness off of being addicted to staring at those things. So the life a human lives is, what do I need to do and not do to make it nicer to live in here while I'm staring away from myself? The answer, it will never be that. It will never be that. You will never, ever be okay that way. Never. Why? Because it's not who you are. Deep inside, there's something that's calling, that knows that love can be greater than having to manipulate somebody to get it, and having to dress a certain way and act a certain way. There's something called unconditional love. It doesn't exist in this world. What you only have in this world is, you turn me on, stay here. What do I need to do to get you to stay here? That's possessiveness, jealousy, all that stuff. Why? Because it's built out of need. I have need. People say to me all the time, but don't we have needs? No, you do not. They're fake. You have the experience of need because you're not seated in the self. You're whole and complete within yourself. But if I get lost, I'm lost. I have amnesia. I'm scared. I need to do something to center myself, to ground myself, to be okay. And so I grab, don't I? I grab and take and pull and do things and try to manipulate a world around me, very small, by the way, Your world is very, very small. To build a world around me that I know how it's going to be, I'm comfortable with it, it's predictable, especially your home, close stuff, okay? And that is what's going to be around me. And I'm going to make it be there and cause big trouble if it's not. And that becomes what your life is, about finding things to make you be okay because you left the okayness. You're staring down, and this whole thing can never be okay, you know? It's like, have something happen. No, don't have it happen. Have a doctor tell you, you've got, oh my God, I looked at your x-rays and everything, you got a serious illness. Okay, well, you got to deal with all that. It's terrible. You're scared. Then he calls you up next week. Oh my God, I was looking at somebody else's, big trouble. I was looking at somebody else's chart. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay? That's wonderful, isn't it? I guarantee you, you will still continue to carry the fear that it might happen. Wouldn't you? The fact that you felt that fear, that you could have a fatal disease, and then you find out you don't, that's going to stay there. It's an experience you had. So we don't stand a chance. You don't stand a chance that way. That's all I can say to you. I'm not interested in preaching spirituality. I'm just interested in talking about, hello, are you in there? How would you like to be okay in there? You're not going to be okay in there by staring at that which is not okay. Well, what is depression? I make statements around here that I can't believe that you all let me stay here. All right? Nobody is depressed. Nobody has ever been depressed. They are staring at a depressed mind and a depressed heart. If you look into a dark black hole, that's not what you are. You're the one who's looking. If a light is shining at something old and broken, it's not broken and it's not old. Your consciousness is not broken. It is not depressed. It is not anxious. It is not nothing. It's just aware. So the question is, what are you aware of? You don't have much of a choice because it gets very strong in there, doesn't it? And it pulls you right down. And sometimes it can pull you so far down that you can't get out. But that doesn't mean you're depressed. It's very strong, okay? It's very strong. Those are strong pulls, all right? It's pulling you down so that your awareness is focused on that. Have a relationship and have a breakup. Have your heart break. Can you just let it go? No. It hurts. It's strong. It pulls you down into it, doesn't it? You're not a hurt heart. You're just aware of a hurt heart. So spirituality is the journey, the path, not some stupid experience you have once in a while. It does not impress me one iota. Come tell me, oh my God, I had this experience and I meditated or had a drug or I did this, something happened and I saw lights and I saw Christ. I saw Buddha also walking hand in hand and Krishna showed up also and they were walking together and there was just such light and such love, right? Are you there now? No, that happened a couple of years ago, but I'm touring to tell everybody what happened. I'm not impressed. I'm not interested in the experience you had. I'm interested in the state that you've achieved. Because you can live in that state. Not you can, that's who you are. It's not about getting back there, it's about ceasing to leave. So what does it take to truly grow spiritually? That's what spirituality is. What did Christ say? You must die to be reborn. I always say it. I'm a nice Jewish yogi. I love Christ's teachings. When Christ was the highest being who walked the face of the earth, and every single thing he taught was enlightenment, was yoga, was the highest master state that could possibly exist. All right? And you must die to be reborn fits right into that. What does it mean? You need to stop being this false self that you build. That's not who you are. And when you let go of that, you're reborn in spirit. That's what consciousness is. Isn't that beautiful? Turns out it's all the truth. Okay? So, how do I get, I being you too, how do I get from this state of absolute ecstatic being who is lost and constantly lost, and the slightest pin drop, you're gone. I told you. You know how sensitive you are? You're in love with somebody. I like it. I like love. I'm glad you are, right? You feel tremendous love. And you're sitting there and you're talking in an intimate moment and you just can't even help yourself. I love you. I love you so much. I've never, ever loved anybody as much as I love you. And nothing comes back. How you doing? It doesn't take much, does it, for it to close, right? How about this one? Oh my God, I love you my whole life. I've never had a relationship like this. It's just I love you. I hope you love me. Yeah, I love you. He said he loved you. It doesn't take much, does it? Come on, be serious, right? That's absurd. You are made of love. All that's happening is the situation in front of you, the chemistry, the physics, however you want to look at it, allowed you to open. So somehow the person looks like somebody you thought you liked. Who knows how all that stuff adds up. It's pretty complicated, right? But it just matches just right. And it's love at first sight. Okay? And what that means is you opened, and all this love can pour through. It's coming from inside of you. You don't feel it outside. It's coming from you. How dare you tell the person, I love you? You can stand right in front of him and tell him the truth. I love how I feel in your presence. I love how I feel when I'm in your presence. So stay. Don't go anywhere, all right? And then the whole thing starts. What do I need to do to get you to stay? And the other person is saying, well, what did I do to get you to love me? And everything becomes fake from that moment on, right? We're busy manipulating each other and doing everything, okay? Love, Meher Baba said, love must spring spontaneously from within. It cannot be coerced, etc., etc. That's what happened in that first moment, right? That somehow it all clicked and you opened. And it's because you opened that love flowed. And that love is not 1% of what you're capable of. That's like one drop of rain in a storm. That's how much love you have inside of you. Okay? But you opened, so it got to come through. But understand, it's inside of you. So the question is, how do I get from being the highest thing, right? Again, I like that I quote Christ. What did he say? Did he say, you're a lowly being and you should worship me and, if you're good, I'll take you to God? No, he said, as I sit by the throne of my Father, a throne is a state of consciousness. As I sit by the throne of my Father, so you shall sit by my throne. And these things that I do, you should do these and even greater things. Okay? So basically, that's who you are. But you know that this psyche, this body, and the world pull you down. And you can't get your awareness off of it. If you stare at something, that's your world. If I walked around staring at my hand, that's my world, is the hand. Why? Because my consciousness is not experiencing anything else. You are staring at your mind. You are staring at your emotions. You're staring at your body. You're staring at the world around you. And you're very, very, very lost. That's called the lost soul. All right? All right, how do you get out? Is there a way out? Absolutely. Is there stuff you can willfully do that you can liberate yourself, the self, the consciousness, from this addiction to the body and the world? It is literally about how you're living your everyday life. That's what spirituality is. There's a reason you took birth on this plane. It's not to renounce it, and it's not to grab it and hoard it because it's going away when you die. How can that be the meaning of your life? It's all gone. Your family's gone, this is gone, that's gone, your business is gone, your money's gone, every single thing the minute you die. Okay? You have to understand, you came down here with nothing, you're leaving with nothing. Period. In terms of material stuff. Okay? However, you will still be there. You will still be there. So what work are you doing? You work on liberating your soul. You work on freeing yourself. That's the purpose of your life. That's the purpose. It doesn't mean you don't have a family, but that's not the purpose of your life. It doesn't mean you don't have a business and be successful. It doesn't mean you're not popular and people vote for you on Facebook. It's fine, but that's not the purpose of your life. The purpose of your life is to find yourself. It's self-realization. It's to realize there's something very great in there. There's a treasure in there, and you got lost. How do you work your way out? Obviously, meditation is very good. You should meditate. But you're not going to meditate 24 hours a day. You know what you are going to do 24 hours a day? Live your life. You understand that? That's what it's about. How to live your life in a way that liberates you, that frees yourself. Every single event that happens to you in life is great. Every single event. Every single death, every single birth, every single getting fired, every single being hired. Every single event that happens to you in your life can be used for your growth. It's not just, I need good things to happen. No, you do not. In fact, very often, the hot things are what really work. So you first start by saying, all right, I want to devote my life, you say, to God or to personal growth. I don't care which way you call it. It's the same thing. Sometimes the Zen Buddhists say, I don't believe in God. There's no God. That's because they went so far back that it all merged into one and it was formless. And do you understand that? They all went to the same place. Where Christ went when he said, my Father and I are one, he merged with the universe. Well, so great masters have done so. Though I always like to say, and it's the truth, that Christ was the highest of the high. Every master has said that of the highest he could possibly get, that's nice. But by the way, that's not a religious statement. The word Christ was not his name. Christ is a word that defines the highest of the high. It's not Jesus Christ, it's Jesus the Christ. So understand that that's what we're talking about. So how do I use my life for something very meaningful? You use your life to free yourself from the addiction to yourself. Die to be reborn. You use your life not to renounce. Renunciation isn't it? I don't know how they got caught there. But renunciation means as follows. I'm caught, and my mind has decided this is what I want to feel better. I won't do it. That's called suppression. You didn't work at the root. You didn't go far enough back. The question is, why are you not okay? So your mind said, I need these things, and then you either went out to get them or renounce them. You see what I'm saying? They're the same? It's the same. Doing and not doing are the same thing. So you want to go to the root. Why do I feel I need things? Ooh, I like to see you when you ask that question to yourself. Not how do I get what I think I need. Why do I think I need things? Why am I not feeling the wholeness of my being? And you'll find out because you're staring and are lost staring at yourself. So what do? You use your every moment of every day of your life to free yourself. Oh, I don't understand. How do you do that? Okay. Do any of you, like me, I know he is, got a thing about driving fast and not having to stop for lights and not getting caught behind a car that's going 10 miles an hour below the speed limit? Anybody notice anything that goes on a little bit there? Ever talk to the driver in front of you? Come on, tell me the truth. Come on, buddy, get in the right lane. Come on, hurry up, I want to meet the light. No one's ever done such a thing. Right? He doesn't hear you. All right, what is that telling you? You're wasting your time getting upset about something that you can't do anything about. Therefore, if those of you in business, there's a thing called a cost-benefit analysis. Ever heard of that? You're supposed to draw up these charts and things, a whole presentation for the boss and for the board. Here's the cost-benefit analysis. I want you to go in and see how long you last and say, I got it. Here's my presentation. It is a 100% cost and zero benefit. Let's do it. That's what you're doing when you get upset about the driver in front of you. That's what you're doing when you get upset because it's raining. That's what you're doing because you think it might rain tomorrow and you want to go camping. You can't do anything about that, so you've decided to screw yourself up over it. To ruin your evening, to ruin your life by complaining about something that you don't have to complain about. It's just something you got in the habit of doing. Why did you do it? Because I'm not okay, and if I get to go camping, I'll do better. I'm not okay, but I feel better when I'm driving and I don't have to stop at the lights, etc., etc. It's because you're not okay that you're defining how these things need to be, and then you get upset when they're not that way. So if instead you slow down, take a breath, and sit there and say, okay, I got to work on myself. But not big stuff. I'm going to work on little stuff. That's what I found. You work on the little stuff. I'm being very kind and compassionate. You work on the little stuff. You work on what I call the low-hanging fruit, as the new book calls it, low-hanging fruit. How much effort is it to not complain about the driver in front of you? You can do that. Every one of you can do that. You just don't bother. So there's a condition in which you're letting your consciousness be drawn down into a negative, uncomfortable thing. But the situation is not uncomfortable. It's just a situation. What's a car driving? What's the big deal? When you go to Mars, there's no cars at all. It's a very special thing that you get to scoot around on this planet, tiny little planet with cars, all right? Dig it. Enjoy it. Say something nice. Think something nice instead. Sit there and think, oh my God, that could be my grandmother. She's in her last years as she's able to drive before her sight goes out and so on. Give her some space. Give her some good energy. Don't beep and don't yell and don't try to pass. And you feel like you're doing something nice all of a sudden. You get to do that, don't you? What's stopping you from doing that? How much did it cost? Did you have to go to a $3,000 retreat? Your everyday life is the retreat you should be going to. Just go to some retreat, read some nice steak, come back all blissed out for a few days till something happens that brings you back down. And you say, I gotta go to that retreat again. No. You need to be able to handle your everyday life. That's the only way you're going to get there, because you're always going to come back to your everyday life. And you shouldn't try to avoid it. You should use it to go to God. Use your everyday life to grow spiritually. Because I already defined to you what it means to grow spiritually. To not get distracted by the garbage that's going on inside your head. Well, your complaints about the weather, your complaints about the driver, your complaints about this, that, and the other thing are distractions. All right? When I did the last interview with Oprah on the new book, she picked out what is probably the most powerful line in the whole book. It says as follows: the moment in front of you is not bothering you. You're bothering yourself about the moment in front of you. The driver in front of you is not bothering you. You're bothering yourself about the driver in front of you. If you stop bothering yourself about the driver in front of you, it would not be bothering you. The rain is not bothering you. You're bothering yourself about the rain. The fact that it might rain tomorrow, I like that one, that's really good. It might rain tomorrow. The rain doesn't bother you. You're bothering yourself about these things. How about we stop doing that? That is your spiritual growth. Wow, that's where the rubber hits the road, isn't it? How about we stop doing it? Are you capable to stop doing that? Of course you are. I give you 3 different techniques in the new book. Positive thinking, mantra, or witness consciousness. They all work. It's all fine. Positive thinking says, my mind is in the habit of being negative. Is yours? The last thing in the world I ever wanted to meet is somebody says, no, I work on my mind. I use positive thinking. My mind's positive. Why do you have to work on your mind? Because it's negative. Okay? Everyone's mind is negative. Why? Because that's what you stored inside your mind. The situations you didn't like throughout your life, didn't you? Go study Freud. Anything that happened that wasn't comfortable through you since your childhood, you stored in there. You didn't let it go through. You pushed it away. I don't want to deal with it. It comes back up, doesn't it? All of psychology, if you stop doing that, they're out of business. If you stop resisting reality and pushing it away and storing it inside of you, there is no therapy, there's no psychologist, because you're not a mess. But you stored your mess inside of you, didn't you? Do you have stuff inside that bothered you in the past that's still there? Okay, that's why your mind is negative. So don't tell me I do positive thinking, therefore my mind's not negative. Why do positive thinking? Because if I don't, the mind's negative. You're just basically putting something on top of the negative mind, which is fine. There's nothing, when I talk like this, don't be silly. I'm showing you the hierarchy of how you work on yourself. It's perfectly fine to do that. There are times I do it still. There are higher states than having to put something on top of your negative mind that's positive, but it's a wonderful thing to do. Yogananda taught it, the great enlightened master. He said, every time you have a negative thought, replace it with a positive one. So you're welcome to do that. Instead of getting into the junk that your habitual mind, right, that which the patterns you took over the course of your life, instead of getting caught in those habitual things, you're welcome to use your will to replace those. Just do it gently. Don't do it like a sledgehammer. Don't yell at your mind. Don't tell it to shut up. Don't try to control your mind. There's a reason it is the way it is. You up there, the consciousness, forcing it, controlling it, manipulating it, telling it to shut up, which I did for years. I get to talk from experience. Okay? Doesn't do squat. The best you can do is push it down. But you didn't get rid of why it is the way it is. Buddhists say work at the root. You have to work at the root of why the mind is being negative. You should have compassion for your mind. You should apologize to your mind. I'm so sorry I screwed you up. If you store everything that bothered you throughout your life inside of you, what's it going to be like in there? Bothered. And don't you dare tell me you didn't do that. Anyone who said anything that hurt you. Here's a pseudo-spiritual person. Somebody says something to them. Wait a minute. I didn't like that. That was nice. You hold on for a second. Okay. All right. I'm okay. You are not. You just push that sucker down there as hard as you could, and it's coming back. But that's better than hitting them. Everything is relative. I talk like this because it's fun, and I want you to see there's higher states. But that does not mean you're not better off doing that than freaking out, running away, never liking the person. You're better off anything you can do to work with yourself to be better than the habitual way of reacting that you're now doing that keeps you trapped inside. So even if you start to work with that, Yogananda said that. He was very big on will. Yogananda was tremendously big on will, being everything, right? But he made a caveat. He said, if you're in a situation and you're trying to handle it, and it's causing so much trouble inside of you that you see, I'm not going to be able to handle this, run. Whoa, that's a master telling you that. Run. You are better off making a willful act of getting out of the situation than you are losing yourself. Then you are losing your center of your consciousness. And the next thing you know what I'm talking about. Pots and pans start flying. All right? So yes, you can use these techniques. Next, which is actually, I do this in the new book, which is even greater. Once you're able to do that, I do want you to replace your negative thoughts with positive. I told you what to do about the driver in front of you. If it's hot out, think about the fact, why is it hot? I remember I did that with Mickey, right? Why is it hot? Come on, quiet down. Why is it hot? Oh, there's a sun out there shining. It's really freaking hot. Is it a sun or a star? Oh, it's a star. Do you like stars? Yeah, everybody likes stars. So you're so close to a star that you feel its heat? Whoa, that's pretty neat. You know, you've never gotten sunburn. You get star burn. Isn't that neat? To be so close to a star that it's so hot that, oh my God. All right? I told you. Miami's what, 350 miles away? Something like that? How big would a fire have to be in Miami for you to feel it up here? If the whole town caught fire, you would not feel a single thing. The sun is 93 million miles away. So all of a sudden, you used your positive thinking, your intellectual mind, to raise yourself. Now you're not complaining about the heat. You're basking, oh my God, imagine circling a star and feeling its heat. That's what you're doing. See what I'm saying? Do that with everything. Do that with everything, including your close relationships. Somebody does something, disappoints you. You can raise yourself. The Gita says, raise yourself with self. Don't trample down the self. So you who's in there watching, seeing all this, reach down and bring it up. Bring it up. Don't just let the reactive energy run your life. That's what it means to grow spiritually. You raise yourself. It's not about the outside, is it? It's not about what your mind... I don't mind that your mind does whatever it does. Let your mind do anything it wants, okay? And then raise it up. Raise it up. Raise it up to say what? No. Raise it up to realize you're in there watching it, and you're none of those things. No matter what it says, you're not it. You're just looking at it. All these things are techniques for working with yourself. But they're every minute. It's got to be every minute of every day. This is what you have devoted your life to. So you see, it's not about relationship and not relationship. If you don't have a relationship, do it then. If you do have a relationship, do it then. It doesn't matter. Both are very growthful. They're wonderful. Believe me. Don't have a relationship. You're lonely and then have a relationship. Oh my God, it's freaking me out. It's never the way I want it to be. I can't believe you did that. Right or wrong. Use it to go to God. Use those things to see if you can raise yourself. All right? And then the next one I go in the book, is mantra. The mantra is not some Eastern weird thing that gurus give you. Mantra is understanding. Well, I'll ask you, can your mind multitask? Can it be sitting there reading a book and then thinking about something else such you have to go back and read it over again because you never really read it? It's multitask all the time, all right? You ever get a song stuck in your mind? Okay? What if you took something like, I can handle this, I can handle this, I can handle this. Got that stuck in your mind. And now anything that happens outside that starts to react inside, behind it, something's saying, I can handle this. Wouldn't that be nice? It's like having a best friend. You are welcome to do that. Just the repetition. It can be Om Namah Shivaya. It can be, an Eastern thing. It can be Christ. Yogananda, right? God, Christ, Guru. God, Christ, Guru. That was one of his mantras. So whatever, just some positive, beautiful, uplifting thing, simple, repetitively going on, and eventually it will be going on in the back of your mind all the time. And the minute something happens, instead of being drawn down, you have an option. I can be pulled up. Mantra is very powerful. And then the third, as you work your way up, is you don't do anything. What do you mean? You're able to handle that the mind said this or did that or remembered this, and it doesn't pull you down. That's called witness consciousness, objective observation. You are the consciousness watching what's going on, and it's not so strong anymore that it can pull you out of your seat of consciousness. That's what I want you. You're capable of that, about anything. You just need to work your way up. When you start the piano, you don't play Beethoven or Mozart. You play the scales. When you start learning to stay centered, you don't sit there and make yourself, I can handle anything. No, you can't. Okay, they get upset because you didn't, right? You go and you work with the car in front of you. You work with the rain. You work with what somebody said, what somebody didn't say. You just work with the little things. That's your scales. And the next thing you know, you can do more and more until eventually nothing will ever take you out of your seat of consciousness. Look at me. You don't have to try. There's no effort. It's called becoming established in the seat of self. You've practiced enough, and situations will help you. I told you, challenging things. A lady, the saint who brought us the Durga statue over there, Ma Yog Shakti, she used to teach the following. Very quiet lady, real, very, very pure lady. She said, problems are the nectar of life. Now you see why? Because they challenge you. Can you stay centered? Can you stay seated when someone you love says something you don't like? Can you still feel love? Can you not close? Are you willing to give away the love for some stupid thing somebody said because they were in a bad mood? Or do you sit there and say, no, I'm never giving away the love. I can handle this. That's what that means. I can handle this. I'm not closing. I won't close. I don't care. That's a gift to you and to everybody else, isn't it? This is how you raise yourself. That is spirituality. Those are your spiritual practices every day of your life. So what you do is you wake up in the morning and you remember this talk. You remember the purpose of my day. Forget my life. That's too big. Forget this year, we make New Year's resolutions. It's fine. Good. The purpose of this day is to make it through the day without closing. To make it through the day, not taking any more of this garbage of not being able to handle the situation that happens, so I bring it into the next day and can't deal with somebody. I am going to handle what takes place. It comes in. If it's coming in, it's passing through. Ooh, that's how a great being lives. That's what be here now means. Be here now doesn't mean I'm here now. Look, I'm here now. No, that means you're not there now trying to be. Okay? Be here now means that's where you are. I'm here now. Well, what happens when what happened now? It's done. It came in and it passed through. I experienced it fully, and the next moment it gets to come in. Not I couldn't handle it, so the next moment comes, I ain't paying no attention to that. I couldn't handle the last moment. Somebody says something, somebody doesn't say something, you think something, and the next thing you know, you miss the next moment. See, that's not be here now. Be here now is very, very simple. It means don't be there then. Okay? And that's where we are. There's not hardly a moment that passes by that makes it right through. It can. A beautiful sunset catches your attention. Notice it distracts you from yourself. And the next thing you know, you say, oh my God, it was such a beautiful experience. You don't understand. I felt like I was standing in the face of God. You were. Because you let go of all this garbage you were staring at, and the experience got to come all the way in. You ever really experienced it? Touched me to the core of my being. That first kiss, it just touched me to the core of my being. It did. Because you were that open that the moment was totally experienced. There was nothing else going on. That's how a great one lives. They live in the now, but they don't try to. See the difference? Yeah. All right. So you work on this. I'm begging you. That's what this talk's about. I told you we're going to start off talking about real spirituality. Notice, it's not about the world, is it? But the world's your friend. Because it helps you grow. Somebody wants to ask me, but how do I know where my stuff is? Don't worry, it'll find you. It will find you. Or, I don't have any stuff left. Okay, we'll see you later. You want to know what? If you didn't have any stuff left, you wouldn't be here. Earth is a place that souls are sent to evolve. Are you evolving? Or are you trying to make sure you don't by getting what you want? And manipulating everything so you don't ever feel anything and don't have problems and don't have to let go of your garbage. Of course that's what you're doing. That's what everybody's doing. You always say to me, I'm only human. You are not human. Not only are you not only human, you're not even human. You just happen to be looking at one. All right? Okay. I hope you get it. Consciousness is everything. And when it's said and done, I always finish this way. That state we just talked about, where you're established in the seat of self, that's nowheres compared to the great ones. Once you're established in the seat of self, what does that mean? You don't get pulled down by yourself. You don't get pulled down into yourself. You kind of let it go by. It's still there. You let it go by. It's passing. Because it doesn't get pulled down, something starts pulling you from inside. Like a vacuum cleaner is pulling your consciousness up. You never felt that before. You felt it pulling down, right? And then your entire struggle to grow was about releasing the pull down. When you are established deep enough in the seat of self, the consciousness starts getting pulled back to where? It must have come from somewhere. What is the source of your seat of consciousness? It's enough to get back there. And then you start realizing, where did this come from? And there's all this love, all this Shakti, that's what we call it. We call it spirit, Shakti. The rush of holy waters. It's going on inside of you. And it starts to pull you up. And you'll realize, I had to surrender, I use that word, I had to surrender and let go of the stuff that was pulling me down. Now I have to surrender and let go of myself. I have to let go of my entire sense of individuality. It's enough that I'm not caught looking down at that thing down there. Now now I'm experiencing myself as a separate self-consciousness, right, is being pulled up and being asked to let go of myself. Die to be reborn. Make me cry. Isn't it amazing how deep the teachings are? Okay, as deep as they come. And basically it's pulling you back, and as you let go, the great ones, that's why we have pictures on the wall. That's why we respect the great masters. They let go completely. When Meher Baba let go for the first time, he said, my consciousness was a drop, like a drop looking down at me. It fell into the ocean. Find it. And you're not going to find that water that dropped in the ocean, are you? Why? It merged. The word yoga means union, merger. And that's what Christ meant when he said, my Father and I are one. My Father and I are one. The drop fell into the ocean. It merged. It's not a separate drop experience in the ocean anymore, is it? It is the ocean. So when Christ said, my Father and I are one, it is the truth. And that's who you are, period. There's no separation. You are the divine being looking out in all of those places, including the mosquitoes and the roaches. Right? If it moves, it's got consciousness in it. All right? You're a very great being, aren't you? Work with yourself. Little by little. Don't judge. Just work with yourself. It'll happen. Jagrath.